Welcome to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. Hello, my name is Lisa Machenberg, and I'll be your host, covering a wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. It is my pleasure to introduce John Sahakian. Now, John is our very own web TV hypno-yoga instructor, but the reason that I'm so excited to have you on my show today, John, is that you're going to be doing a workshop on hypnosis and stress reduction.
Stress management.
Stress management.
Which is the same thing, really.
That's right. And I'm really excited because everyone's going to get a sneak preview of what you're going to be teaching very soon for the American Hypnosis Association. Well, you're a recent graduate. When did you graduate from HMI?
Several months ago.
Wow.
In 2010.
And tell me about your private practice.
Well, I have an office with a psychologist, and she refers clients to me. There's also an acupuncturist there as well. We share a suite, and feel very fortunate. I love my office, I love being there, and that's very important.
You know,
I look forward to going there.
I love it. You know what they say, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
But you know, when we're working with other healthcare professionals, sometimes there's some misunderstandings about hypnotherapy. When you're dealing with the psychotherapist and with the acupuncturist, were they very receptive to you as a hypnotherapist? Can you tell me about your experience with those two other professionals?
I definitely had to relieve some myths and misconceptions, because we even have this idea sometimes, but then we educate ourselves on what the process is, what hypnotherapy is good for, what hypnosis is good for. I feel that it should be a part of every healing modality.
Yes.
Everything. And I didn't want to push too hard. People are fascinated by it. As a matter of fact, I have several clients that are therapists themselves, not hypnotherapists, actual psychotherapists. And there's more and more interest because they see it as something that can support their practice, that can make their practice work even better.
Oh, sure. But what's the number one misconception of other psychotherapists about what a hypnotherapist is? What's the fear?
What is the fear? Well, I think it comes with not being educated. Not being educated, so there's a lot of mystery around it.
Yes.
And as we know, when we don't know about something and there's mystery around it, our general reaction initially is to be afraid of it.
Sure.
So I'm never short on explanation, so I've tried to, in an easy way.
Yes.
I don't want to push them into understanding, and even taking them through sessions themselves.
Oh, excellent. So. Give us the thumbnail explanation for people who are confused or they have some mystery around it, who are psychotherapists, other educated people. What's the great way to dispel the myths? What do you say to them?
Well, I let them know there's nothing to be afraid of, and when you drop into a state of hypnosis, you can step out of it any time. The analogy I use is when we hit the snooze button on our alarm clock in the morning. Some of us do that. I don't. I just wake up, but conditioned to.
Yes, of course.
But if you hit the snooze button, you roll back to sleep. Are you really asleep for those remaining minutes? Are you asleep? Well, you are, and it feels so good. You're asleep enough to realize how nice sleeping is, but you could get up any time. And that's the same idea. And we're using that period when we're more receptive to make positive suggestions. I use that analogy. I do use the iceberg. That you look at the iceberg, you've got this little tip at the top, and that's so huge, like our conscious mind, like what we're using right now.
Yes.
That's so huge. Could there possibly be more? But of course, there is more. There's the other 88% below the surface.
Yeah. Those are very good analogies, and I know I'll use them. I know the other people in our studio audience will use them too. You have a fairly large private practice now, and you see a lot of common denominators as a general hypnotherapist. There's a general common denominator below all the other presenting problems. What do you see it as being?
Stress. Stress is I call it the stress exacerbator, because no matter what the issue is, stress makes it worse and makes it more difficult to manage. I think of it as an old car. I used to have a '63 Ford Falcon Futura convertible.
Wow.
I love that car. It was light blue. It had a black convertible top. I could be seen driving down Pacific Coast Highway with my surfboard in the back. The car was, 40 years old, and we know how well it was made because it's still running in most cars today. After 40 years, wouldn't continue to run. But if you take that car and drive it on a windy road or an uneven pavement, uneven ground, it has weak points that are likely to break. So if it gets stressed in a certain way, it's not going to hold up. And we're kind of the same way. Our body-mind system, we're very resilient. We can deal with problems day in and day out and live, 60 years doing that. But if when we're stressed out, then we end up, if we've got a weak point in our system, our body-mind system, somewhere where we're vulnerable, whether it's addiction, whether it's relationship issues. Recently I had a client who's dealing with relationship issues. And just the fact that she's stressed out about the issue makes it difficult to manage it, difficult to progress, to evolve, to deal with her partner. When we feel at peace, we're much like right now. It's good to feel at peace. We can communicate. It's easier to talk about what's important to us.
And to listen and also to hear. They sound really similar, but they're not. Can you give us some tips right now about how we can manage stress in our own lives?
Sure. There are several elements that I use and emphasize with my clients. One is diet.
Diet?
Diet. We know that as hypnotherapists, low blood sugar can sort of also be an exacerbator for anxiety and support it. So I ask my clients every session, how is your diet?
Well, when a person says, my diet's great, I had a lettuce leaf and a cappuccino, so obviously I'm having a great diet because look how light and healthy I am. What do you say?
Keep some nuts handy. Whenever you're going to do something that I just had some nuts. So, some almonds.
Right before you came on, because
right.
with the lights and the cameras and the studio audience, that can be a stressor, even though we appear to be relaxed, right, John?
We are relaxed.
So bring some nuts or something with protein right before a potentially stressful event.
Know that that's fuel for your brain and for your physiology, and it's just common sense, and it's something we can control. That's good.
What else?
One of the other elements is the law of repetition. Practicing stress management techniques, whatever they are, over and over and over. I have a series that I prescribe and use, but whatever they are, if it's visualization, if it's sitting in a quiet place, visualizing sitting in a quiet place, following your breath, eating properly. Having a program is another one of the elements. Having a program, just like mental bank, creates a subconscious impression. We're committing to this. And that helps us better manage stress. Also, helping the client be more suggestible to the idea that they can make a choice in how they, or have a choice in how they feel and control how they feel through some of these techniques.
Sure, because one of the things that I've learned is the opposite of stress is options.
Right. And studies have shown with baboons, incidentally, where they, the baboons that gave the orders, in the tribe, the ones that were higher up, the alpha baboon, they didn't experience as much stress, even though they had a lot of responsibility. Whereas the baboons that are subservient and don't feel as though they have any choice and they just have to do it, stress affects them more adversely. So suggesting to your clients that you have a choice in how you respond to this moment. It's
Sure.
very helpful.
So you might not have a choice about what's happening, but you certainly have a choice about how you're responding
That's
to it.
right. That's right.
Yeah,
you
I
shouldn't
know.
take that for granted.
Yeah. So you're having a workshop coming up. Are you going to actually be doing some hypnosis in your workshop?
I will be doing some hypnosis. It will be very specific to relaxation and stress management. And I can take everyone through that here.
You must have been a mind reader instead of a hypnotist, because John, what I was going to ask you is, right after this commercial break, I would love it if you could take our entire studio audience and our at-home audience and give us a sneak preview of some of the techniques for hypnotherapy that you're going to be using in your workshop on stress management.
That's right.
All right. So we are going to take our short break, but please stay tuned, because when we come back, we're going to talk more to John Sahakian about hypnosis and stress management. A wide variety of subjects to help you understand the power of the subconscious mind and how hypnosis is being used today to help people achieve success, happiness, and prosperity. It is my pleasure to introduce John Sahakian. Now, John is our very own web TV hypno-yoga instructor, but the reason that I'm so excited to have you on my show today, John, is that you're going to be doing a workshop on hypnosis and stress reduction.
Stress management.
Stress management.
Which is the same thing, really.
That's right. And I'm really excited because everyone's going to get a sneak preview of what you're going to be teaching very soon for the American Hypnosis Association. Well, you're a recent graduate. When did you graduate from HMI?
Several months ago.
Wow.
In 2010.
And tell me about your private practice.
Well, I have an office with a psychologist.
Welcome to Hypnosis Today, the nation's first web TV talk show that explores the fascinating world of hypnotherapy. Hello, my name is Lisa Machenberg, and I'll be your host, covering...
And she refers clients to me. There's also an acupuncturist there as well. We share a suite, and feel very fortunate. I love my office, I love being there, and that's very important.
You know,
I look forward to going there.
I love it. You know what they say, when you love what you do, you never work a day in your life.
Exactly.
But you know, when we're working with other healthcare professionals, sometimes there's some misunderstandings about hypnotherapy. When you're dealing with the psychotherapist and with the acupuncturist, were they very receptive to you as a hypnotherapist? Can you tell me about your experience with those two other professionals?
I definitely had to relieve some myths and misconceptions, because we even have this idea sometimes, but then we educate ourselves on